welcome to The Slice, the only show that takes sports and says, yeah, the games are fun, but have you seen the rule books? And today, it's the most wonderful time of the year.
How's your dog?
They crazy, huh? He want my glove like I ain't gotta go to work.
Ooh-wee, we back, day one. Time to work, 2019.
Yes, it's football season again, and you cannot kill my hype for this. Big men hitting each other, covered in pads, copious beer commercials, unnecessary rule complications. It truly is America's game. Not to be confused with America's favorite pastime, racism. Wait, no. I meant baseball. Baseball is America's favorite pastime. So, what are we discussing today? The New York Giants' inability to solve their problems at quarterback? The Cleveland Browns' sudden appearance in the title contention picture? The endless dynasty that is the New England Patriots?
Chiefs receiver Tyreek Hill investigated in a case involving battery of a child. The police reports don't contain a lot of information other than there were two separate incidents at the address where Tyreek Hill lives.
No. Okay, it's fine. There's no reason we need to talk about this. It's not like the NFL would fail to deliver any kind of punishment for this kind of behavior, right?
Here is the statement here from the National Football League. Over the past 4 months, we have conducted a comprehensive investigation of allegations regarding Chiefs wide receiver Tyreek Hill. Based on the evidence presently available, the NFL cannot conclude that Mr. Hill violated the personal conduct policy.
God damn. Okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the National Football League and their personal conduct policy. This document right here is the personal conduct policy, which explicitly states that, quote, it is not enough to simply avoid being found guilty of a crime. Remember that. That'll be important in a second. But let's get down to the nitty-gritty of this document. NFL players are prohibited from essentially committing crimes. Shocker. They go on to list a few crimes like distributing drugs.
Federal judge says former Dallas Cowboys wide receiver Sam Hurd will have to return to North Texas to face drug trafficking charges.
Actual or threatened physical violence.
Greg Hardy is a defensive star on the field.
And again, it's Greg Hardy.
But tonight, his new team is on defense.
And now you can beat a woman and play with a star on your helmet.
And crimes of dishonesty such as fraud.
Federal authorities accuse Kendricks of working with former Goldman Sachs investment banker Damilare Sunoki in a series of insider trades.
Say what you will about the NFL, but you could make an entire court procedural show about their players' run-ins with the law. But the most important part of this policy comes from the section about discipline, where the final decision about suspensions rests with the commissioner. The current commissioner of the NFL is Roger Goodell, or as you may know him better, Roger Goodell. Boo!
17 years ago, the Patriots won their first Super Bowl. I can't believe you guys are booing the Cowboys. Come on.
That man is one of the least popular men I've ever seen. I wonder if he can go anywhere without getting booed. Like he's waiting at a restaurant for a table and they say, Goodell, table for one, and everyone in the place just turns and boos him relentlessly. The reason for the hatred from fans towards Goodell is extremely varied, but there is a fair amount of discontent because of his approach to discipline. Infamously, Goodell's most renowned instance of this might have been Deflategate, where New England Patriots star quarterback and ageless wonder Tom Brady was suspended 4 games for his alleged involvement of the deflating of footballs before a playoff game. But on the scale of heinous crimes that Goodell has dealt with, that isn't even close to the top of the list. Which brings us to this offseason and Kansas City Chiefs star wide receiver Tyreek Hill.
And you say that he respects you, but it's not respect. Me. It's terrified. He is terrified.
You need to be terrified of me too. Dumb. That's why you can't.
Yeah, that guy. Now, first I have to inform you that Hill and his girlfriend, Crystal Espinal, are no longer being investigated by the police. But with that in mind, let me walk you through the series of events that comprises this depressing story. March 15th, the Kansas City Star publishes and local channel KCTV5 broadcasts stories about 2 police reports from Hill's residence. One report is for alleged battery, the other is for alleged child abuse. The incident involved Hill's 3-year-old child suffering a broken arm. From there, investigations were launched by both the police and the Kansas Department of Children and Families. On April 18th, it comes out that Hill and Espinal temporarily lost custody of the child in early April. On April 24th, the Johnson County District Attorney Steve Howe closes the criminal case against Espinal and Hill for insufficient evidence, but he says this in his remarks.
We believe that a crime has occurred. However, the evidence in this case does not conclusively establish who committed this crime.
The next day, hours before the NFL draft, KCTV5 releases a part of an audio clip recorded by Espinal in which Hill and Espinal accuse each other of being physical with the child, with Hill notably stating, quote, "You need to be terrified of me too," expletive. At this point, Hill was banned from the Chiefs training facility, with the team holding a press conference to say this.
We were deeply disturbed by what we heard. We were deeply concerned. Now, obviously, we have great concern for Crystal. We are greatly concerned for Tyreek, but our main focus and our main concern is with the young child. At this time, and for the foreseeable future, Tyreek Hill will not take part in any team activities. We are going to gather more information. We're going to evaluate this information, and we will make the right decision regarding Tyreek Hill.
The police, with this recording coming to light, reopened the case against Hill and Espinal, but it ended sometime before June 7th. On June 26th, Hill met with NFL investigators for over 8 hours over the child abuse investigations, and on July 19th, the league opted not to suspend Hill after finding that he did not violate the personal conduct policy. Wait, what? Part of that ruling included the full version of the leaked audio, in which it becomes increasingly unclear as to whether or not Hill is guilty. But there is still that clip of Hill allegedly threatening Espinal. And also, pop quiz. What did I tell you to remember earlier? That's right. It is not enough to avoid being found guilty of a crime. The personal conduct policy specifically bars, quote, conduct that undermines or puts at risk the integrity of the NFL, NFL clubs, or NFL personnel. I don't know about you, but Hill's behavior sure seems detrimental to the league. But you know what? It's at the discretion of the commissioner. That makes sense if there's no other case that was similar to this with a different outcome, and just roll the tape.
On Friday, we found out that Chiefs receiver Tyreek Hill would not be suspended as a result of multiple potential violations of the personal conduct policy for which he was investigated. Coincidentally or not, the NFL held until the next business day the news that Seahawks defensive lineman Jarran Reed would be suspended 6 games under the personal conduct policy, even though he wasn't arrested, wasn't charged, but the NFL decided he had violated the personal conduct policy as a result of a domestic violence incident.
Yep, that's right. The Seattle Seahawks' Jarran Reed was suspended for 6 games the next day, despite the Bellevue City Attorney's Office declining to pursue charges for insufficient evidence. In 2017, Reed was never charged or arrested in connection to the domestic violence. Wait, I've heard that before. It's with the Hill case. Reed was denied an appeal by the NFL and will sit out the first 6 weeks of the season. And look, there's a lot of thoughts going on here. I know that. Clearly, it's a difficult proposition to ask fans who place their emotional investment in the hands of these athletes to make unbiased evaluations. But the larger problem is what seems like a random and arbitrary way of handling these situations. The league has a more stringent policy about policing marijuana, a substance that's legal in 11 states and our nation's capital. There's countless examples throughout the history of the league of these kind of instances, but there still isn't any clear-cut standard as to what qualifies as a violation. To the outside observer, there doesn't seem to be much of a difference between the Reed and Hill cases, but there might be. And if there is, the NFL needs to be transparent about that, because right now, the average fan seems to believe that Hill got away with it because he can run really fast and catch a ball. That is the exact wrong image this league should be trying to put forward. This kangaroo court is supposed to be able to hold players to a higher standard than just the law. That's supposed to be a good thing. But in application, it's just so inconsistent. The NFL Players Association thought so too in 2017, when Dallas Cowboys star running back Ezekiel Elliott was being investigated for domestic violence, stemming from an incident when he was at college in Ohio State in 2016.
It's a major blow to a team that thought it could compete for a Super Bowl this season.
But now the running back is under a cloud of controversy, suspended for 6 games for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy.
The NFL handed down a 6-game suspension, despite the NFL's lead investigator recommending that there be no suspension for Elliott. And the NFLPA sued in the U.S. District Court of Eastern Texas and won an injunction to allow him to keep playing. The league and the Players Association went back and forth multiple times, with Elliott eventually withdrawing his appeal and the NFLPA withdrawing their suit. But the optics of this whole incident are terrible. And look, there's a deeper issue at work here. Football players seem to find themselves in these situations at a higher rate, and there's something that needs to be examined there. I'm not the person to do it. I don't have the time to explore the problems with toxic masculinity in sports, at least not now. But after hearing everything about the NFL's process, you start to understand this a little better.
I can't believe you guys are booing the Cowboys. Come on.
But hey, that's just a slice of the NFL. I'm Akhil Ganesh. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.